Welcome to The Bold. Days after Meg Whitman, the American ambassador, was dispatched in Karen for a closed-door meeting after Raila arrived from Dubai, information coming now is that another US envoy was also dispatched today and paid a visit to former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and that has been shared by Uhuru Kenyatta social media handlers who shared the details of that meeting. And without much ado, I want us to dig deep and look at really what is behind it. The office of the fourth President of the Republic of Kenya shared, His Excellency President retired Uhuru Kenyatta held separate meetings today with former Malian President Prime Minister Musa Mara and the US Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Ambassador Mike Hammer, who paid him a courtesy visit at his residence. Former Prime Minister Mara, widely recognized for his notable contribution to the governance of Mali, and Ambassador Hammer, who represents the United States diplomatic endeavors in the Horn of Africa. Both participated in meaningful discussions with the former head of state. They underscored the importance of bilateral and multilateral cooperation in tackling regional challenges and advancing shared objectives. Uhuru Kenyatta is, I want to assume, number one, and if you look at the way his dressing was very casual, just home. The meeting here with the US envoy for the Horn of Africa is parallel and can be compared to the meeting that was held in Karen last week on Thursday when Meg Whitman visited Raila Odinga. And I want to believe Uhuru Kenyatta is in his capacity as the former president, and that's why I'm seeing former Malian Prime Minister. I think they are working on a caucus. Number two, he's also the African Union Kenya Peace Envoy Facilitator for the East African Community Nairobi-led process. And lately, he's also going to lead African Union AU election observer mission in South African election that will be held later. So this is a very critical point, and I need also to remind viewers that Uhuru Kenyatta's office, the office of the fourth president, apart from it getting support, that is supposed to get constitution, get support from the country, it's also another fully constituted office that can attract support and funding and partnerships even with other organizations. So that is normally a fully fledged organization. And so what is behind this meeting? And why first am I saying that the two meetings are, to me, they look the same? One, it is widely understood, and I think if you've been if you've been reading around, it is widely understood that the broad mission that Raila Odinga held in Dubai with Hassan Joho and Junet Mohammed, who are his close confidants, the Kenya Kwanza team have been saying that Raila met Uhuru Kenyatta in Dubai. And their understanding that part of it is what was, is why Raila Odinga made a U-turn. I will analyze that sometime later. But that is a position that people within the intelligence have, that Uhuru Kenyatta is behind Raila Odinga. So that's number one. And number two, the reason why I'm also connecting the dots is the fact that both American ambassador, or rather in this region, in the East African region. The Kenyan ambassador Meg Visit met Raila on Saturday, on Thursday last week. Today, it's still another ambassador meeting Uhuru Kenyatta in his official residence today. Both are special US envoys. And so, what joins Raila and Uhuru together? They're all members of one political formation and also very close political confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, so someone was, I just checked this and someone was asking in what capacity and what's going on. First, I want to advance one of the first objectives that could be this meeting, looking at what they've written there. I think there seemed to be a shuttle diplomacy for Uhuru Kenyatta to mediate between the DRC, President Tshisekedi, and his counterpart, Rwandan counterpart, Paul Kagame. There is a tweet that Tshisekedi did, I think that was last week, if I'm not wrong. And he said that he's going to tell Kagame straight in the face that he is the person behind the current attacks that are going on, in the southern coast of DRC, and that Rwandan forces, Rwanda is behind the M23 rebels. That's politics that has been there for long. So I'm bringing it in because Uhuru Kenyatta is the peace negotiator for the East African region. So in that capacity, if he met Uhuru in that capacity, then it's clearly about making sure that, they give, it tries to find a neutral ground between the two warring factions, between the two factions. And the office of the former president, fourth president, is actually really active in this. Now, apart from that, if it is on Kenyan interest, then there are only two occurrences. And they want us to use elimination methods. Number one is whether you will meet Uhuru Kenyatta for something related to William Ruto's visit in US. That's number one. But then, I would then ask, what will Uhuru Kenyatta have to do with President William Ruto going to the US? It could be just as simple as just trying to, to create some conducive environment, for that, or maybe for the region or so. But for me, I don't see. And someone was, someone tell me something out of the moon that, or the US want either Raila or Uhuru to accompany President Ruto to US, and I was like, no, that will not be it. So I chose to narrow one. This has to do with the African Union Commission chairperson. It is not secret that global powers, economies, are really having big interest in that position for two reasons. Let me just explain this. In West Africa, some traditional French colonies are actually ejecting them from those countries. And coup d'etats have been going on. That is number one bit of it. Number two, the US is facing an imminent threat from China, who are sweeping the East African region with very lucrative deals. I listened to, if you look at most of the infrastructures that have been done in the East Africa, have been done by the Chinese. So on that front it will be it. And of course, now Horn of Africa. Why am I narrowing down on AUC? Because according to the African Union, I think arrangement that was made, is that the next chairman of African Union Commission, next chairperson, will come from the Horn of Africa. It will come from the Eastern Africa. So this is a point, and of course here, there are two protagonists I just basically say two. There are a candidate from Somali and Djibouti who are all Islamic nation. And then we have Raila Odinga there. So that politics of the religion has come up, and that is why there was even a letter that was leaked on some, some Islamic states backing the candidature of some two of those two other candidates. But then it will still mean, and I think even the US and some powers feel they see very well that there's a big potential of Raila Odinga winning it. But the recent statement from Raila on backlash with William Ruto and what Raila's handlers are saying about that position sent some shockwaves that perhaps the candidate they would feel want to hijack might not be interested in it. And that is why Uhuru Kenyatta meeting will largely be about arriving at, they mostly believe that, the US have the intelligence, and they know very well that they have a feeling that it's Uhuru Kenyatta convincing Raila to drop that seat so that Raila can vie in 2027. It is as simple as that is what they gather. So I believe that is on table. The African Union Commission chairperson bid of Raila Odinga is on table because the US wants it. And so, what is their interest? What is the American interest in that position? Interests are two. Number one, Kenya is the gateway to the Eastern Africa. So they want Kenya to get it. Number one, they want Kenya to get it. And would use probably that to get the influence. Number two, Raila's absence leaves William Ruto unmarked. And so, it will be very easy because William Ruto, I think what you've realized with Kenya Kwanza is that there have been less resistance on their end when America comes knocking. It's only the opposition and other political quarters that raise questions. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my short brief on this. You can also read, I can also read your feedback and tell me what you think was on table for this meeting. Why the US dispatched their Horn of Africa envoy to Uhuru Kenyatta residence. Thank you.